course, it is your boy DJ Double G in the building once again for another edition of the Down the Middle Show on another Saturday. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, all the time for you. Like I said, my partner in crime is MIA. Not sure exactly where he is, but nonetheless, I'm not alone. Of course, we have the Queen of Sports, one of the most beautiful persons I've ever worked with. I say that with no apology, whether looks or otherwise. I'm speaking of none other than the lady that gives you the wave from Mondays to Fridays. I'm speaking of none other than the creature is around. Mr. Jazzy Smith is around. Okay, sir. No worries. I'll hit you up soon. But anyways, before I got distracted, I am honored to have once again the beautiful Kennedy. Good evening.
Hey, what an introduction! What an introduction. Absolutely love it. Just a bit of a correction there. I bring the wave every single Monday to Saturday, actually. So, yeah, we go through the entire week, actually. Even over the weekends, we bring the wave.
Indeed. How are you, my dear?
I am fantastic. I am awesome. I'm amazing. And it's good to be back on Down the Middle. How are you?
I don't even know.
Has it been that hectic?
Indeed. But of course, before we go any further, let's do this.
Lindelof. Expansive in finding Rashford. Now it's Dalot. And Garnacho!
Yes, indeed. Once you hear that, you know what time it is. It is, of course, the football roundup with, of course, the Queen of Sports. And what do you have for us this evening, my dear?
Oh, friend, I love the name, the football roundup. That is just so beautiful. You know, that's exactly what we do each and every single Saturday right here on Down the Middle. And you know, DJ Double G just gives us that platform to actually just give you everything in terms of football that has been going on during the week. And we've got a lot to catch up on, so without any further ado, let's just get into it, because there's a lot that we need to catch up on. And we're going to be kicking it off with South African football, the PSL. So as we announced a couple of weeks ago, Betway is the new sponsor of the PSL. However, the season was actually supposed to kick off last weekend, but due to the fact that the sponsorship deal was signed quite late, the season will only kick off in September, specifically the 12th of September. That is exactly when the Betway sponsorship season will actually kick off for the PSL. However, in the meantime, they actually thought about it very well. I think this was a clever move, and just to keep the fans entertained, because around this time it is football season. This is definitely when the leagues actually kick off. They were quite smart about this, and they thought that let us put one of the tournaments to go ahead first, while we close up this Betway sponsorship deal. We sign on the dotted line, and they have actually put the MTN8 tournament to go ahead first. Now, usually in South Africa, the MTN8 tournament actually kicks off around September, October. That is the exact time that tournament actually kicks off. But this time around, due to the Betway sponsorship being signed quite late, they thought of the MTN 8 tournament to just kick off early. So it kicked off last weekend, and yeah, it was a thriller match that kicked off the tournament with Orlando Pirates versus SuperSport United. Just, you're looking at the highlights of that game, it went down. And when I mean it went down, it was a thriller of a match. Orlando Pirates are bringing the heat this season, and teams do need to look out for them because, wow, they are on the attack. They are really just, they have focus, they are quite determined and they know exactly what they're looking for. Now, Orlando Pirates are two-time defending champions of this tournament. They won it in the 2021-2022 season, and then they also won it in the 2022-2023 season, and also now they're defending it in the 2024-2025 season. So they are the defending champions, and they kicked off their tournament on a very good note. In the quarterfinals, it was Orlando Pirates versus SuperSport United, and they won that match 3-1, with the first goal coming through in the first 90 minutes of the match. SuperSport reacting to that mistake that they made and just pulling one back to make it all even, which was 1-1. They went into extra time because someone actually has to be knocked out, and one will only go to the semi-finals. So they did go to extra time, and within this extra time, Orlando Pirates banged in 2 more goals to make it 3-1, and that's exactly how SuperSport United were knocked out of this tournament. Another match that was actually on the cards as well was Stellenbosch FC versus TS Galaxy. Now, I did speak about Stellenbosch FC a couple of weeks ago of what we could expect in this year's or this season's PSL, and Stellenbosch FC are a team to be on the lookout for. They are quite dangerous, they're quite technical, and they're quite smart when it comes to outplaying their opponents. And honestly, in this fixture, they did just that. Now, TS Galaxy did get a red card, so they were already on the disadvantage with only 10 men on the field. And you know what? Stellenbosch FC actually took advantage of that, and that is exactly how they were able to bang 3-1 against TS Galaxy. Now, a match that also came through today as well was between Sekhukhune United and Cape Town City, and that match ended in a 1-0 affair with Cape Town City going through to the semi-finals of the MTN 8. Now, tomorrow there's only one match, and that is between Mamelodi Sundowns and Polokwane City, which will be played at the Loftus Versfeld Stadium out in Pretoria. So, great match to be looking out for. That game actually kicks off at 3 p.m. South African Standard Time. So if you are a fan and you're going to be heading out to the stadium to support your favorite team, that game kicks off at 3 o'clock. So you might want to be there nice and early. But it is going to be a thriller of a match. Sundowns, of course, being eluded by this one League Cup in this tournament. They don't really have a good track record when it comes to the MTN 8, and this season around they are going to be looking to actually bring that heat and secure their place in the semi-finals. Now, the MTN 8 does have 2 legs of the semi-finals, with one being home and the other one being away. So I'm guessing after this match tomorrow at the stadium, the semi-final fixtures will be announced, which will probably be played in the next coming weeks.
Whoa! How do you do this? I could actually sit here for the next 2 hours listening to you running.
It's for the love of this beautiful game we call football.
Now I understand exactly why you are self-proclaimed the queen of sports.
Exactly.
Right, so
it's for the love of this beautiful game, football. It unites everyone. It brings everyone together. And honestly, it's just one of those sports that really just put you at the edge of your seat, because many fans actually do take this sport to heart, and you just see all these fans who are supporting their favorite teams. When they lose, the emotion when they're not winning, when they're missing the goals, and when they're missing the opportunities, the emotion that goes into the fans, and just the thorough preparation that the coach needs to make for the matches, and just preparing the team overall. It's quite extensive, and yeah, it's just for the love of this beautiful sport.
All right, let's fly into England for a second.
Yeah.
Of course, the EPL starts next weekend.
Yeah.
And there is a lot to look forward to, with, of course, if my memory serves me right, Manchester City
Yeah.
taking the title for the 2023-2024 season.
Yeah.
Of course, currently, as I speak, the transfer window is still opened, and of course we'll get we'll get into that in subsequent programs. But what exactly are you looking for or forward to as it regards to firstly the English Premier League? Do you think Manchester City can go back to back? First of all,
you know what? They would definitely want to do it again. I think Pep Guardiola would definitely want to do it again. His Martins would certainly want to do it again. I mean, they did want to do it in the previous season, the 2023-2024 season. They wanted to literally go back to back with the treble. Of course, they won the EPL League, they won the UEFA Champions League, and they won the FA Cup. And they wanted to do it again in the 2023-2024 season, but unfortunately, being knocked out in the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League, and losing in the final of the FA Cup as well. And the only cup they actually walked away with was the EPL. So definitely, in hindsight, Pep Guardiola is looking to redeem himself. He's definitely looking to get his boys ready to actually compete, and hopefully this season go back to back. But you do have the likes of Arsenal, who were really, really just literally a hand away from lifting the EPL League last season, and Man City coming in and sneaking and snatching it away from them. So Arsenal is another team to look out for in the season. We know what they can do. We know their potential. They have shown that they are not a force to be reckoned with. They have shown that they do play football, and when they mean business, they really actually do mean business. So it's going to be quite a very interesting contest this time around to see. I mean, the top three, we're probably going to be looking at Arsenal, Man City, Arsenal again. Maybe top five, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham. Perhaps Man United sneaking into the top five as well. Depending on.
I was just about to fly to Pretoria for you. Because I was wondering, where do you see Manchester United? Not because I'm trying to be as professional as I can here, listeners.
Yeah.
But for the past couple of seasons, Manchester United has not been looking like the Manchester United when, for example, the special one who we all know.
Yeah.
I'm speaking of Jose Mourinho. Or the king himself. I'm speaking of the man who quote unquote started Manchester United. per se.
Yes.
Winning the treble, etc. Multiple trophies
Yeah.
back to back.
Yeah.
You know, do you see Manchester United coming back anytime soon in terms of possibly the top three? Because the least they have made it, or the most they have made it, is maybe the top five, top four. That's it. Top
Yeah.
six.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you see them in the top three in the near future?
You know what? I definitely concur with what you're saying. It hasn't been the same for Manchester United since the special one, since the king himself,
And
who
of course,
actually
I'm
started
referring to
Man United.
I'm referring to Alex
Yes,
Ferguson when I say
Sir
the king.
Alex
Of course,
Ferguson, right
indeed,
there. I mean, that
indeed.
time Man United was really on a high. When it was the Manchester Derby, you would know that they would go pound for pound. It was a real derby at that time. But so things haven't been the same ever since. And what I do know is that they've brought in a new technical team to adjust here and there. So with this season coming up, I wouldn't say I see them in the top three in the season, perhaps in the top five, but in the near future, hopefully they can actually fix their ways and actually find someone as close to the special one or the man himself, Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah. The thing is, I was actually saying to someone earlier, I was having a friend of mine, and
Yeah.
one of the things that I've said to him was top guns, for example, like David Beckham,
Yeah.
a previous coach that coached Manchester United. He was also
Yeah.
under the wings of Alex Ferguson. Um,
Definitely.
Other top players,
Yeah.
Manchester United was a force to be reckoned with. Maybe
Yeah.
20, 25 years ago. Man City as well. I mean, Man City still they still continue with the dominance that they portray from day one. But
Yeah.
Liverpool, the very same thing.
Yeah.
Chelsea. I mean, right now I'm seeing Chelsea in a more deeper trouble than Manchester United. Because, for example, last season and the season before, they were not looking like the Chelsea we know.
Mm. Most definitely. You know what? Chelsea, I don't understand, or rather, I do not know what is going on with Chelsea, because they really haven't been looking their best. They really haven't been playing at their best. Something along the line is just not going right. I do not know if it be a thing of the players, if it be a thing of a coach or the technical team, but I always say this in football: if something is not going right, it's not just on the field. It literally is not just on the field, and you cannot always put the blame to the players. If something is not going right behind the scenes, it reflects on the players. It reflects on the game itself. It reflects on the team as well. And they won't give 100%. They won't give everything they've got. So somewhere, somehow, something is not really going well with Chelsea. And I mean, even last season, they weren't really at their best. The season before that, they weren't really doing that well. When was the last time you actually saw Chelsea at least in the top 5 of the EPL? It's been a while. It's been a while.
Exactly.
It's been a while. It definitely has. So as I'm saying, something is just not going right, and they need to figure it out really, really, really quick.
Because a team, for example, like Everton, they have been dominating Chelsea per se in terms of positions, and you do not. I mean, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, Everton was nowhere to be seen.
nowhere, literally nowhere to be seen. And now they have actually dominated Chelsea.
Exactly. I mean, not only Chelsea, Manchester United, Man City, Liverpool,
Yeah.
all the top guns, and
Liverpool,
you're saying to yourself,
Newcastle, Crystal Palace, they've literally dominated. Dominated.
No,
So the likes of these small teams are not to be undermined.
Exactly.
They are really not to be undermined. A team like I always find a team like Brighton. Brighton has Manchester City's number. Every time City plays against Brighton, you never really understand what's going on. City would have the best players on that field, but Brighton will find a way to just outsmart Manchester City. They'll find a way to just actually dominate and outclass Manchester City all the time.
And for a quote unquote underdog team, something is I don't I cannot compare this pertaining to the because Liverpool and Manchester United have been going at it for years. The Red Devils, and but you cannot compare Manchester City with there was a team I actually feared playing as well, and when I say we, I mean Manchester United, because this team sprung from nowhere. I'm referring to Hull City. They sprung from nowhere and dominated Manchester City every game they played. I mean, Manchester United, every game they played. And I was like, what is the coach not doing? Not saying that the team is not playing well or whatever, but there's something with this specific coach of Hull who happens to
always have their number. Exactly. I definitely get where you're coming from. And as I'm saying that, these big teams, they would have the best of their players on the field, the best 11 on the field. But it's just something with these underdogs that just are able to come through, and you don't really understand if you have the likes of Mo Salah, you have the likes of Erling Haaland, Kyle Walker on the field. You never really understand as to how a team like, an underdog, Brighton, would come and actually beat a team like Man United or Liverpool or Man City.
Exactly my point. And I'm saying to myself, and these underdogs are not just defending, they're banging in goals.
They are banging in goals. DJ Double G. And you know what? The way they play the game at that time, you can actually see that, you know what? The passes are magnificent. The game that they are playing at that moment in time, they literally have those big teams literally by the line. Literally, you get the likes of Man City defending while an underdog team is just coming at them all the time, and they just banging in goal after goal after goal. Honestly, and you wonder how a scoreline between a team like Arsenal and Brighton, which favors Brighton at this time, is a 3-0 kind of a scoreline.
Yeah, because sometimes I'm looking at scorecards and I'm like, 3-0. Okay, Arsenal, you've got this. But when I click on the info, I was like, Brighton? I was like, whoa. Am I seeing something? Is you know what I mean? Like, you cannot believe, because you expect Arsenal to beat a Brighton, you expect a Man City to beat a Hull City, you expect a Manchester United to beat a Newcastle. Well, speaking of Newcastle, they are a force to be reckoned with.
They are a force to be reckoned with. I was actually telling my partner, I think it was last season, when I was looking at the EPL league table and see Newcastle, I think it was within the top 8 of the league. And I'm like, Newcastle is in the top 8? What the hell? And I'm looking at the stats. I'm looking at how many games they've played, how many games they've won, points that they were currently at, and they're sitting comfortably in the 6th position. And I'm like, Newcastle is doing something this season. Newcastle is really just has up to their game. They have stuff, and they are playing football. And I sometimes see, it's another team that really has Man City by the line as well. Sometimes, Newcastle will just literally surprise Man City out of nowhere and literally beat them the likes of 2-1, 3-1 right there, and you wonder as to how a team like Newcastle, being the underdog that it is, coming and actually beating a big team like Manchester City. And I guess, us as fans, we take these big teams, to be the stars of the league. And people forget that you've got teams like Fulham, you've got teams like Everton, you've got teams like Crystal Palace who are actually a force to be reckoned with, and they should not even be taken lightly at all.
Yep. Finally, before we end, because and we haven't even touched on the Spanish league. We haven't even touched on the Bundesliga in Germany. We haven't touched on half of the leagues around the world. But time. My final question to you before we end this segment is I need for you to tell me this. I know I'm going to put you on the spot, even though we haven't gone through the rest of the league.
Here we go again.
but if you had to pick one team from each league, the South African League, the EPL, the German League, the Spanish League, one from each top to win the league this season, who would it be?
Ooh, DJ, you putting me on the spot.
Well, like I always tell anyone who steps into the studio once I'm in the studio is prepare for anything.
No, definitely, and one thing I've realized over the couple of months that we've worked together right here on Down the Middle, like, you love putting me on the spot. You did the same thing with the Euros. But, okay, to answer your question, let me put it like this. Let me start with the PSL. I'll start with the South African Football League. I won't be specific in name, but if you know what team I'm talking about.
No. I didn't ask you that. I asked you to name a team, miss. You're not gonna get away with this evening.
I'm trying to dodge the question with everything I have. You just not letting me go. Let me directly answer the question.
And if you don't, every week that you come in here, I will ask you the same question. So you're gonna be tired of that question. So answer it and get it over.
Alright, for the PSL, I'm going to go with Orlando Pirates. They are just on top of their game.
I knew exactly where you're gonna go, but I wanted you to say it.
Okay. There. I've said it. I've publicly said it.
Say it again.
Orlando Pirates.
Say it again. I didn't hear you.
Oh my gosh.
Jazzy didn't hear you. Jazzy Dexter Smith didn't hear you. Who did you say?
Okay, for the South African Football League to win it for the 2024-2025 season is Orlando Pirates.
Sierra David didn't hear you.
Oh my gosh! No, the black and white.
Okay,
the black and freaking white.
Okay. The English Premier League.
Okay, EPL, sure. This is a very tough one. But I know the citizens aren't really gonna give it up just like that. So I'm gonna go and give it to the citizens again.
Okay.
Manchester City.
Okay.
In the La Liga. Oh man, you know what? For me, there's just one team that's really just dominating at this moment, and they're the UEFA Championship title holders right there. Real Madrid has to be the one to take it this season again. In the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich really came up short last season, and they would definitely want to redeem themselves. So I'm definitely going for Bayern Munich right there. In the French league, we'll definitely go for PSG. They are a force to be reckoned with. They definitely are on another level. I do not know how they're gonna survive without Mbappe this season, but somehow, some way.
I was going to ask you a question, but I'd rather leave it for next week because you mentioned it.
Let us leave it for next week.
I was going to ask you, where is he? But we'll tell the listeners about that next week.
Exactly. So, yeah, for the French league, definitely, PSG, somehow, some way, they're gonna make it happen.
Okay, so that's exactly how we do on that. But then again, you were the Queen's Group. Why are you running from questions?
Because sometimes as an analyst, you don't really want to give your direct opinion. However, at the same time, you do. So I guess it's just a balance of how you say it, of how you just really give the listeners what they want.
Alrighty then. And on that note,
yeah,
we wish you well, and of course, we catch you next week indeed. Alrighty, my friend.
Thank you so much, DJ Double G. It was an honor and a pleasure to just be back on Down the Middle. Actually enjoyed it so much. And for all the listeners, you can catch me on Good Vibes, Good Conversations from Monday to Thursday from 7 all the way until 9 o'clock. Every single Friday on the Wild Wave from 8 all the way until 10 o'clock. And every single Saturday from 9 all the way until 12 o'clock on the Recharge. That's how we catch the wave every Monday to Saturday only on Zollyhood Radio, the home of Zollyhood Stars.
Alrighty then. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Lindelof. Expansive in finding Rashford. Now it's Dalot. And Garnacho!
Yes, indeed. 20 minutes to the top of the hour. And of course, we say thank you so much to Kennedy Babe, Queen of Sport, wherever she is. And I have dug some holes and dug some pits, and we have come up with the man himself. Who are we referring to, people? I'm referring to Mr. Jazzy Daniel Smith. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon. From my side, I am doing super cool on my side, can't complain.
We have
As they will say, let's begin.
indeed.
We are on the penultimate day of the Olympics. Sunday is the last day of the Olympics. So we are winding down in terms of the whole sporting activities and so forth and so forth. So, with that said, I think where we can start off is just to have a look at some of the stuff which are remaining, and after that we can get into the whole controversy with Noah Lyles and his testing positive for COVID. Where we can dive into this whole Algerian boxer who got gold medal. But for those who have been following the sports commentary, you would know what I'm talking about. And then we can start in the whole Olympics and how much the athletes are getting paid and all that kind of a drama. And like we said once, You might get it correct, you might not get it right, but we'll see. I'm actually in the top 10.
Well, let's see how much we can slide in within the next hour and so.
Alright then. So here's what we're going to do. Let's start off with the top 10 sports. I'm going to take and pay that, and from there we can touch on some of the results from those top 10 sports, those that are in the Summer Olympics, and anything outstanding.
Okay then. So let's do this. Yes, indeed. Let's do this.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most awesome under-the-radar sports played at the Summer and Winter Olympics that certainly deserve a lot more attention.
He is the Olympic champion for men's individual archery. What a moment for him.
Number 10, Rugby Sevens.
It's one of those hairs standing up on the back of the neck moments. The Olympic final. A gold medal at stake.
There was quite a lengthy hiatus for rugby at the Summer Olympics. 15-a-side matches were discontinued after the 1924 Games. It then took nearly a century, 92 years more precisely, for rugby to make its return at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games.
And again it's a Fiji try, and it's Leone Nakarawa.
But it wasn't the original setup. Rather, this would mark the start of the discipline known as Rugby Sevens, in which each team trots out 7 players for a game involving physicality, endurance, speed, agility, and teamwork. Fiji won the first men's gold medal in the sport, while Australia came out on top for women.
World Series champions and now history makers. The Aussie women, the first team to win gold in Olympic Sevens.
For those who dread sitting down for hours to watch a sporting event, Rugby Sevens' fast-paced 14-minute games may be an attractive element. Number 9, canoe, slalom, and sprint. Canoeing has been a staple at the Summer Olympic Games since 1936. Both disciplines, sprint and slalom, the latter of which joined the party in 1972, are intriguing races along the water that warrant more public attention. Canoe sprint, which takes place on flat water, is the way to go for those looking for sheer speed.
This is poetry, this is passion, this is power from the Brazilian.
Whereas canoe slalom, which occurs on an artificial whitewater course, may be preferred by others due to its element of tactical navigation.
He now has to paddle with freedom. He's going to have to take some risks.
That's because there are 18 to 25 gates through which the athletes must, well, slalom. Either way, when it comes to both canoeing events, what's impressive and potentially appealing for the public is the combination of technique, concentration, and speed.
It's unbelievable just how much water is flowing down this course, which is there or thereabouts 400 meters.
Number 8, skeleton, extreme sliding. That's one way to characterize the electrifying winter sport that is skeleton.
Martins do, of course, set the fastest time in practice for this event and build up a push-off speed of 51.3 kilometres per hour on the way to reaching a higher speed of 130.3 kilometres per hour in his ride.
It first appeared at the St. Moritz Winter Olympics in 1928, made a brief comeback at the 1948 Games before missing out on the next 13 events. Since its return in 2002, skeleton has become a consistent winter event.
The Russian building a fastest time of over 131 kilometres per hour, that being over a second faster than his nearest rival.
The sport involves the competitor starting with a sprint before hopping on their sled in plank position, and then zooming headfirst along an ice track. Gravity and kinetic energy are integral factors of skeleton. Also, focus, stillness, and tiny movements of the head, shoulders, and feet to steer are key. Precision is everything here, as races are often won by milliseconds. Beside all that, the cool helmets are a plus. Number 7, trampoline. The incredible acrobatics involved in trampolining make for a captivating spectacle.
Looking very strong through all her twisting parts.
The event first appeared at the Olympics in the 2000 Games in Sydney. Men and women alike soar over 25 feet in the air while performing a series of twists, bounces, and somersaults. While the sport has certainly become popular, the elaborate body movements, superb body control, and overall exceptional technique necessary, in addition to the high-flying nature of it, still make it underrated.
Here she goes. Looking clean. This is impressive.
Plus, for many of us who have fun childhood memories of bouncing on a trampoline, these athletes show us all the amazing aerial maneuvers that we ourselves could never do.
She's looking strong. There is some travel, but it's not too serious. Good height on the last skill.
Number 6, table tennis. It can be riveting watching two skilled table tennis players whack a ball back and forth over the net. Table tennis has been a sport at the Summer Olympics since 1988 and has been dominated by China. At the Olympics, the intensity level during an epic rally can be through the roof. The speed, spin, accuracy, and body movements utilized by players is amazing. They, however, have to stand somewhat far away from the table compared to the typical friendly amateur match in your buddy's basement. Sure, most people are familiar with this sport, whether they refer to it as table tennis or ping pong. But the real question is, do they watch it during the Olympics? Well, they should. Number 5, modern pentathlon. Fencing, freestyle swimming, equestrian show jumping, pistol shooting, and cross-country running. Yeah, that's 5 different sports, but they mold into one Olympic event known as modern pentathlon.
First, athletes had to swim 200 meters.
Baron Pierre de Coubertin, founder of the modern Olympic Games, was fond of the ancient games version of the pentathlon, which consisted of running, jumping, javelin, discus, and wrestling. He wanted to incorporate an updated version that would test a complete athlete, and so he proposed a modern pentathlon.
Next was riding, where athletes navigated 15 jumps on horses drawn at random.
1912 marked the first edition of the competition, while a women's event was introduced in 2000. Modern pentathlon doesn't get the public attention it deserves relative to other Olympic sports, particularly given its lengthy history and the way it tests athletes' versatility.
4 shooting stations were spread throughout the 3.2-kilometer run.
Number 4, archery. Focus, precision, and consistency are vital in archery, a sport that debuted at the Olympics in Paris in 1900. South Korea has dominated the category, winning 13 more gold medals and 10 more total medals than the second most successful nation.
If An San can finish this off with a perfect set, then the Dutch, well, you just have to say you're beaten by the better side.
Taking into account the size of the targets and the distance from which the archers shoot their arrows, this unique competition is pretty awesome. Targets measure 122 centimeters in diameter, and archers stand 70 meters or about 230 feet away. Can you believe how far that is?
The gold medal, is it heading to Korea? It is! It's an 8!
So next time you watch Olympic competitors launch arrows through the summer sky, remember the extraordinary concentration it takes to hit those distant bullseyes.
If this 22-year-old from Turkey scores a 10, he is the Olympic champion.
Number 3, artistic swimming. Once known as water ballet, this sport now commonly goes by artistic or synchronized swimming. At the Olympics, the event is presented as both duet and team competitions. The pool-based sports require water aerobics, flexibility, attention to detail, choreography, and synchronization among teammates. All of this, along with the incorporation of music, results in an unparalleled spectacle. Artistic swimming first made its way to the Olympics in 1984 and has provided numerous entertaining moments since. Obviously, the athletes compete for the highest scoring routines, but for viewers, the unique artistry of the sport allows it to be interpreted not only as a competition, but as a performance or show as well. Number 2, badminton. Hitting the birdie back and forth over the net is considered a fun, casual outdoor activity by many. But there's nothing casual about Olympic badminton. These athletes engage in intense, fast-paced rallies that demand ultra-quick reflexes, sharp decision-making, and superb hand-eye coordination. Badminton became an official event at the 1992 Summer Games in Barcelona. The competition includes single and double events for men and women separately, as well as mixed double events. Matches are best-of-3 series with each individual game played to at least 21 points. This racket sport is wildly popular, especially in Asia, yet it's a bit of an unsung hero at the Olympics. Its skillful and entertaining nature definitely warrants a much larger global audience. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Handball. Although it first appeared at the Berlin Olympics in 1936, handball wouldn't become a mainstay at the Games until 1972. It's a fairly popular team sport in Europe, but hasn't caught on nearly as much in other places, such as the US. According to the International Olympic Committee, handball sits in the 4th out of 6 tiers of popularity among Summer Olympic sports. That takes into account TV viewership, internet popularity, public surveys, ticket requests, press coverage, and the number of national federations.
Swap back to his right hand again. There he goes, right, and then swap again.
Clearly, handball doesn't draw quite the same attention as some other Olympic sports, but it should. The sport, which requires teamwork, strategic positioning, throwing accuracy, deception, and agility, among other qualities, is certainly worth a watch. Let us know in the comments which of these Olympic sports you're most interested in watching.
When you see it in real time, it looks pretty much perfect, doesn't it? It was very good indeed.
Really? If it's not DJ Double G, I'm not interested.
In the mix.
More hits, more music, more
Zollywood Radio.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, on here, I asked you a specific question. Series of questions.
Okay.
There's a sport that was mentioned. Would you like
I think a lot of us have done trampoline, but we look at Olympic sports and we're like, yeah, I can do that. But in actuality, really, can you really do it? Because it looks so simple on paper, but it's not.
Would you like to do it?
I would like to do it, my friend. I think we have done it already in our past as little children.
I've never gone on a trampoline, so yeah.
You never have? Okay, well, yeah. Well, that's something that you will need to try, my friend. But generally,
I guess you have that.
Yeah, if you went to Pizza and any of those places and see a trampoline, yeah, you'll get the points. It's something that many people have tried in some formats. But it's handball, yeah, that's a definite thing I would like to try. Definitely.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I said we can always have a look at a few of the sports that we have not touched for this Olympic cycle as yet. One of the sports that we mentioned is artistic swimming. So the last medals should be given out today at the end of the day. Right, and so far, in terms of the whole competition schedule, obviously we are almost done with it. But so far, China has one goal. The United States has gotten the silver, and Spain has gotten the bronze in the whole artistic swimming, right? In terms of the individuals, so the only thing that's missing is the duet. That's the only thing that has not taken place as yet.
Hopefully tomorrow or so we can give a comprehensive roundup of regards to this specific sport. So we
Yeah.
have one more day to go.
Yeah, we have, well, one more day to go. Another sport that was mentioned is badminton, and even though it was mentioned, I think that people still have no idea what the hell is that kind of a sport.
Neither do I.
Right. And I don't even know how to classify it, because you see, the thing is this, the ball, people say a ball, but the ball is, I wouldn't say it's not round, but it's not the average ball that you would normally see. Let's just put it that way. Right. So
I wonder if we can find a picture of a badminton ball and post it on our channel.
yeah, we definitely can find it. That's not a problem.
To see what the ball actually looks like.
Yeah, but if I have to put it in short, imagine a ball, a small ball, and at the center point of it, it has feathers coming out of it, like a little skirt. That's how the ball looks like.
Okay, a feathery ball. Okay.
Well, it's not a feathery ball. It's a ball with a skirt.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to put it. It's a ball with a skirt.
I've seen a ball in a skirt, but okay then. I've seen women in beautiful skirts. Okay.
Yeah. So just take a skirt, my friend, put it around the circumference of a ball, and yeah, you got it. You got a badminton.
Okay.
Yeah. So in terms of the whole medal ceremony, so far, China leads the medal counts with 2 gold, 3 silver, followed by South Korea with 1 gold, 1 silver. Chinese Taipei has 1 gold. Denmark 1 gold, has 1 gold as well. And then Thailand has a silver. Japan has 2 bronze. Malaysia has 2 bronze. And last but not least, Indonesia has a bronze. Right? And all of the sporting disciplines have already been put in: the men's singles, the men's doubles, the women's singles, women's doubles, and mixed doubles. So that's pretty much done and understood. Then we go into another sport. It wasn't mentioned, but many people, if I say equestrian, a lot of people will go like, what the hell is that? Equestrian. It's a sport that requires horses and people.
Oh, you mean the horses jumping over hurdles like human beings?
Yes.
Like I said off air, I would not want to be on a horse that flies over hurdles without wings.
Yeah, so it's called equestrian. That's what it's called. That's the name of this. That's the name of the whole stuff. And then there have been different formats over the years in terms of how it's played. But before I go there, I will just say this: there are some sports. If you were to look at who plays them and so forth, you realize those sports are more of an elite sports. Equestrian is one of them.
Oh.
Yeah. And if you look at some of the people who have won Olympic golds, you realize you'll probably find a lot of royalty in equestrians who have actually won. Yeah, those kind of people, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a elite sport. Anyway, leave that alone. But so far, we have Germany has topped the table with 4 gold and 1 silver. Great Britain, 2 golds. 3 bronze. We got France with a silver and bronze. Australia with a silver. Denmark with a silver. Switzerland with a silver. United States 1 silver. Japan 1 bronze. And the Netherlands 1 bronze. And if you realize, majority of the sports that happen, countries that I've mentioned, there is actually some monarchy there. But anyway, you get the point. And so just to give you about the different events, you have the individual dressing or acid dressing. You have the trim dressing, individual eventing, team eventing. Alright, so another sport that was mentioned, but again, we don't know too much about is handball. So we have women and men's tournament as always. So the medal summary, we have Norway with 1 goal. We have France coming off with the silver, and we have Denmark coming off with the bronze, and that's in the medals table rankings for the men. And then for the and okay, just give me 1 second, let me just get something there. So in the we have the preliminary group. We have a group E and group B. We have 6 teams in each group, and the top 4 advancing. So in group 1 we have Germany, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, Croatia, and Japan. Croatia and Japan did not make it into the other round. And in group B we have Germany, Egypt, Norway, France, Hungary, Argentina, and Hungary and Argentina did not make it. And then after you go,
is that coincidental?
Well, I'm not too sure because I don't know too much about the handball.
Is that coincidental with you? Because the 2 groups you mentioned 2 last teams, and coincidentally those 2 sets of last teams did not make it.
Well, I give it to you in order of the rankings. So yeah, in that case, there are not too much coincidence, eh? Alright, and then after you go through the whole semis and so forth, we had France playing Germany. France playing Germany. Germany went through, and Spain against Egypt. Spain going through. Morocco versus Slovenia. Slovenia went through. Denmark against Sweden. Denmark advanced, and then you have Germany and Denmark playing for the gold and silver, and while Spain and Slovenia were playing for the bronze. Germany advanced. So that's it, and so forth. So those 2 matches will be playing, should be finishing today. So we should have the total points for those two teams by the next sports broadcast. Right? And then on the women's side, which has been completed already, right? We have Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Germany, South Korea, and Slovenia in the first group. Again, South Korea and Slovenia didn't make it. And then we had France, Netherlands, Hungary, Brazil, Angola, and Spain. Angola and Spain didn't. And then we went to the knockout. We had Norway against Brazil. We had Denmark against the Netherlands. We had Hungary against the Swedish. And we had France against Germany. And, right, so Norway went through in the match between Norway and Brazil. We had Denmark advancing against the Netherlands. We had Sweden advancing against Hungary. And we had France advancing against Germany. And then we went into the knockout. We had Norway and France playing for gold and silver. Norway took home the gold. France took home the silver. And then between Denmark and Spain for the bronze, we had Denmark taking the bronze. And Sweden was left without a medal. So that's where we were. I'll touch on one more spot. Remember I mentioned the whole water in the Seine River and so forth, and how athletes the match have to be postponed, athletes were falling sick, and so on and so forth. Right? We still have some matches, some events still taking place. I think most of them were completed, if not all. But kind of different. So we have Great Britain leading the table with 1 goal and 2 bronze. We have France 1 goal and 1 bronze. We have Germany 1 goal, no bronze. So there's 1 medal. You have New Zealand with a silver. You have Sweden with a silver, and the United States with the silver medal. In the different events that we had the men's individual, we had the women's individual, mixed relay, and those will be events that were taking place. So that's basically it for my major sports roundup. So I think we have generally covered most of the Olympic sports taking place over the past 2 weeks and some days. So the next sport report, I should be able to tie off the remaining matches still left and any other outstanding events. So I think we can take a break and then we can have a few discussion as to, some events happening during the Olympics, which we have touched about, but we're going to go into a little bit more in detail. So Adam, Jeff Brown, Jeff, okay, I'll break my brother.
It is now 17 minutes after the hour.
More hits, more music, more
Zollywood Radio.
hits. Hey, listen. This is new hit music non-stop. Every day, every night. Non-stop.
Zollywood Radio.
This is
Zollywood Radio.
You're listening to DJ Double G. Double G. Double G. You're listening to DJ Double G. Double G.
Bang, 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 bang. DJ Double G. More hits, more music, more
Zollywood Radio.
hits. Hey, listen. This is new hit music non-stop. Every day, every night. Non-stop.
Zollywood Radio.
This is
Zollywood Radio.
Just the other night, I saw a fit and very healthy Noah Lyles run a new personal record time of 9.81 seconds at this year's Diamond League meeting in London, taking down a world-class field and winning his final race before this year's Paris Olympic Games.
But Lyles is going to take it, and he runs 9.80! And that is the third fastest time in the world this year. It's the season's best for Lyles.
This race was more than just a win. It was a statement. Against last year's silver medalist Letsile Tebogo, the British record holder Zarnell Hughes, the South African legend Akani Simbine, and the rising star from Great Britain, Louis Hinchliffe, Lyles separated easily from this field, and he left everyone wilting in his wake. At 9.81 seconds, this performance was nothing short of excellence, and to do it into a headwind was but another reason to find what Lyles did so amazing. During this race, Lyles split a 60-meter interval time of 6.47, and for his final 40, he ran an estimated time of 3.34 seconds, one of the fastest closes over the final 40 meters in sprinting history. When Lyles is on, there is no denying that he is just on, and there are very few people that can keep up with him over the final meters. And even though 3.34 is one of the quickest closes that we have seen over the past decade or so, you know who ran slightly faster? It was Usain Bolt of Jamaica. Back in 2009, Bolt's speed was absolutely goated, and it was unmatched, and during that year's World Championships, he ran a new world record in 9.58, and he broke this world record by more than 1/10 of a second.
It's Bolt all the way. He's looking round at Gay. Watch the clock. It's gold for Bolt. And again, he's done it again.
This race was about as close to perfection as you could ever even imagine, and when we take a closer look, we can see just how he did this. Through 60 meters, Bolt turned on God mode and achieved a time of approximately 6.29, which was already an insane start for a man that stands at 6 feet and 5 inches. But then for his final 40 meters, he ran a time of 3.29, still to this day the only close in under 3.3. Clearly, Bolt's abilities at this point in his career were absolutely unchallenged, and ever since his departure from the track world in 2017, the sprinting scene, and especially the Jamaican contingent, has desperately been waiting for the next big name. And with this in mind, there has been an athlete exponentially growing with hype, hailing from Jamaica, and this man's name is Keshane Thompson, the athlete that many people have as their gold medal pick for this year's Olympics. Now, unlike Noah Lyles, Keshane will be entering this year's Olympics with no international experience to his name. He's never been to the Olympic Games, he's never been to the World Championships, but rest assured, he is aiming for nothing short of a gold medal. Over the past 2 or 3 days, the buzz around this one Jamaican has absolutely exploded, and just yesterday, he finally graced the practice track in Paris for the first time, and because of this one appearance, people have honestly been losing their minds. There's just something about his presence that demands your attention. He's cool, he's collected, and he explodes out of the blocks. And according to his coach, he is not to be affected by the mind games of any other athlete on the track. He is in a position that gives him complete clarity moving into the finals. For some people, a lack of racing is a huge disadvantage. You've lost some experience points, while others seem to be gaining more and more momentum via racing. But for Kishane, who has only raced 4 total times this year, his lack of running somehow appears to be a positive. Whenever he has run, he has looked absolutely incredible. And even for his 9.77 PR this season, which he ran in the Jamaican Olympic trials, he achieved this mark while letting off the gas. The current expectation for this race is that we will see something historically fast, and with Kishane and Noah squaring off come the finals, there is a very real chance that we could see something faster than 9.77. But no matter what the conditions or times bring during the finals, this race is guaranteed to be a 100-meter dash to remember. Now, just a few hours ago, we posted a poll asking all of you who you think will win in the men's 100 for the Olympic finals. And here are the current results after just a few hours. As you can see, Lyles and Thompson are the overwhelming favorites, with Lyles currently standing above Kishane by a pretty big margin. Now, I consider all of you watching right now and all of you who voted the single most intelligent and legendary group of track fans in the world, so I take your opinions very seriously. And while Kishane and Noah do deserve a huge chunk of this vote, there is something else very interesting happening with this poll right now that 2 other track greats disagree with. Beyond Kishane and Noah, we do have many people voting for Seville, Omanyala, and Fred Curley. And I would have put more athletes on here, but the poll only allows for 5 total options, so apologies to Tobogo and Akani Simbine. But these 3 are also incredibly fast, and according to Usain Bolt and Rodney Green from Ready, Set, Go, they have Oblique Seville coming out on top. So far in 2024, Oblique is the only athlete that has taken down Noah Lyles in the 100, as he beat him by 0.03 seconds in this year's Racers Grand Prix, running a time of 9.82 seconds. And for Bolt, who is also trained under Seville's coach Glenn Mills, he is the man to beat right now. Now, obviously all of you voted different, and I fully respect what has been voted for so far, but let's take a look at some of the finer details that all of you left in this post. According to Late Night Finds 4, Curley is underrated. He is an animal and he comes through when it matters. User ZY3 wrote Marcel Jacobs. James Cody Jones wrote Curley in 956. I'm safely assuming that this man is trolling. And for a more introspective look into this race, Matty S6106 wrote, I want the winner to be Kishane because Lyles does not have a sub 977 in his capabilities this season. So if Kishane loses, it means he underperformed. I want each athlete to run their fastest race, and under those conditions, Kishane can run sub 977, maybe 73 or 4. If Lyles does win, I would want to see Kishane run 973 or 4, coming second to Lyles or someone else who ran the race of their life, getting close to 9.70. I would hate to see an underwhelming final where 980 or slower wins it. If 98 does win it, I don't care who crosses the line. Now, there is a lot to unpack with this comment. In fact, I'm not even going to attempt to unpack all of it, but specifically referencing Lyles' inability to run faster than 977 this season, I am not too sure about this statement here. Historically, Lyles only gets faster and faster as we get closer to the global finals. And given his 9.81, which again he did achieve into a headwind, he is looking very dangerous, and a 977 does seem to be in his wheelhouse. Now, make sure to leave all of your thoughts in the comment section down below so we can have a debate on who is the favorite and who will come out on top. Because I have read some of your comments, and they are some of the best and most detailed breakdowns of this men's 100. But for now, let's just hope for a fair race, and let's all hope the athletes bring their A game. Now, again, I want to hear from all of you. Who do you think will win this men's 100? Who do you think is the favorite? And what time do you think will be needed to win this year's Olympic finals? Thanks for watching, everyone. And as always, until next time.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed.
Something actually struck me within that. And of course, I'm going to start with that.
No worries, no worries.
We know that Kishane Thompson, who happens to be the fastest man this year, clocking 977, happens to be coached by Usain Bolt's previous coach, who happens to be Glenn Mills. Are you telling me by this clip that Oblique
Seville, the ex-Calabar athlete who dominated tracks in his heyday, is also coached by the king.
Well, I think Mills has produced a lot of athletes, as you can see.
Yeah,
So
yeah, of course. Johan Blake, for example, Warren Ware.
So he has proven to be a very phenomenal coach in getting the speed necessary to be a contender for gold, silver, bronze in the.
I mean, kudos to Spring Tech, or coached by Bruce James, etc. Or previous coach who coached Shelley and Fraser Price, Stephen Francis and his brother. Kudos to those coaches, but no one can be compared to the king.
No one can be compared to him. He is in a league on his own.
And if he pulled the fastest man in history out of the hat, then of course he is the king.
He has produced some very fast and very talented athletes, and we have seen their capabilities over the last 4 or 5 Olympics.
Yes, indeed.
So that makes his skills and talents far beyond the average too. But there is a lot to unpack in this whole video. That was just one of them. It was a final that all of us were anticipated for. We were glued to our TV, we were glued to our phones, we were eager for this thing. And as you realize in the ending, the guy said, if anybody comes in the 9.8, I really don't care who crossed the line. And that's pretty much what happened, eh? 9.79. That's pretty much what happened.
200ths of a second, eh?
Well, 100 of a second, my friend.
Exactly. So. Yes, indeed.
That's pretty much. And I guess we still don't care who came across, because both of them came in at the same time at 9.79. Just one body torso was more over than the other,
one torso, whichever one works.
Whichever one works, and that has been a debate that has been going around the circles.
Trust me, this will be a debate for the next 2 or 3 Olympics to come.
Right? Should we give it to the guy who has the torso, or should we give it as the guy who has the leg?
It's like in cricket. Did the toe touch the line, or it went over the line? Or did
that kind of.
Forget about the back for a second. Was his foot on the line or beyond the line?
Yeah.
I guess we need to go for either a VAR from football, or we need to go for a DRS.
What's the me, my friend? You never know. Sometimes you don't know what are the rules of certain events until certain things like that happen. Where we had one of the closest finishes in Olympic record history, and when it now come down to the body parts, then we're now asking which body part should be given the priority. Now, if you were to ask me, I probably will say, guys, If the guy's leg is over the thing, my friend, give it to him. Yeah, the guy's feet was over the line. Give it to him, my friend. What do you want? So if my leg is over the line, but my body ain't touch the line yet, my torso ain't cross that line yet.
Whatever
my
body has already reached over before anything else.
You understand? So if it was me, because guess what will happen? Guess what you will now see what happening right now. You will see athletes starting to dive over the line instead of running over the line.
Exactly. And of
because
course, that would be some kind, and I'm sure if that happens, it will be some kind of controversy again. Why did he dive over the line? Why did she dive over the line when she's supposed to be running through the line?
Because the thing is, my friend, if I am in second or third place, my friend, and I realize that my legs can't take me there, why not throw my body over the line if I can?
Exactly. If my legs can't get me, some part of my body will. So, big truck car going over a speed bump. What goes over first? The front, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So once there is a simple margin of my toe going over the line, give it.
Give it to me, my friend. But if you don't agree with that, then I say, guys, just give both of them a gold medal. Come on, guys, really?
If you have a problem deciding who comes first, who came first, who came second, hand both the goals.
Give both of them a gold medal. No problem.
You've seen it in other sporting events, so why can't you do it in track and field?
Exactly. Just give both of them the goal. Give both of them the goal. That is things. Anyways,
I am sure if, like I said, this will be a talk of the town for the next 2 or 3 Olympics to come.
Especially if we have more tight races like this.
Exactly. What happens if we have 2 and 3 tight races in one Olympics? What are you going to do? Are you going to pull the same cat out of the hat?
Nah, yeah, the torso give it to the guy who has the torsos.
Well, I can put this down to torso versus toe. Toe versus toe. T versus T. Whichever one works.
Well, once it's not TNT, but it's okay.
I'm not talking about Trinidad and Tobago.
The big one or the small, the Trinidad or the Tobago? Which one
came first? Indeed, on that note.
Yeah, but going deeper into this whole thing, I guess I'm not sure if I realize that, and I could be wrong, but there is a tendency for Noah Lyles to be a little bit more. He has a bravado, he has a level of complacency about him. So even though he won it by the torso, I think, in his whole thing, he'd be like, yeah, boy, I am ready for that 200 race. And yes, I'm going to have them. Mm-hmm.
I'm the next Usain Bolt to have the double in one Olympics. In one game.
Well, as they would say, was he so wrong, eh? Was he so wrong? So much so that he didn't even come second. He came first. In what would be called the strongest race. Because
so let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question before you go there.
Uh-huh.
It is said that lightning strikes or does not strike in the same place at the same time, or at the same place at the same time. We saw that with Usain Bolt in 2008, 100-200 record.
19.19 respectively, and 19.19 and 9.58 respectively. Noah Lyles pulled off the 100 meter by the skin of his torso or toe, and he tried to do the very same thing with the 200 meter under a medical report.
Which we're going to get there in a while. Right? So, you say, like you said, lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place. Unless you loosen bolts, then we understand, because I guess you make your own lightning because you have your surname is Bolts. Right? Yes.
Exactly. Exactly.
If your name is Bolts, then you don't have to worry about lightning striking twice because you make your own lightning. But if you're not using bolts, there should be a limit, and you as an athlete and individual should know your limits. Most people will say that, and I think Noah Lyles probably would attest to it, but the 200 meters is Noah Lyles' race, not the 100. The 100 is not. He has a stronger performance in the 200 race. Right. So again, I guess that fuels the confidence, But in the end, he's American rank him second, and then Tobago, I'm sorry for butchering your name, my brother, from Botswana, came in first. Very much unexpected, and listen to one commentary which I sent you and we probably play at some point in time. But I'm thinking that Noah Lyles is supposed to pick which of the strongest race. He is not a young chap. The next Olympics he'll be 31. Right, the body is not getting young. So pick a race, commit to it, and go out and do your best. If you are man enough and still want to do 2 races, this is what happened this Olympics will more than likely repeat itself at another Olympics, right? You're not getting younger, like I said, and at the end of the day, it is claimed that the 200 is your best race. And if it's your best race, my friend, then ensure that you have a medal to show that it is your best race, because saying it is your best race and have no medals to prove.
Well, he has a medal, but not the one he was expecting.
Well, you know what I mean? He needs the gold medal.
To prove that you're the king. That's your petty event. That's your petty event. Show that it is your petty event.
Exactly. So
Chilean Fraser Price, for example.
If you realize, my friend, not to cut your thoughts, that Kipchen Thornton won the 100, but he didn't want the 200, and we were expecting him to run the 200.
Exactly. Why? Because he knows what he is capable of in one compared to the other.
So pick what you need and stay true to it.
Exactly. So I don't understand why persons just feel like, of course I am doing the 2, 100 and 200, but which am I more stronger in, 1 or 2? If I'm stronger in this one, focus more on this one.
You understand? And that's what I would say. So if you do not know, unless, like I said, you're bold, or you're probably a Julian Alfred, which is still young, I guess, pick a race that you're confident in, and then stick to it.
I knew that was coming. You would not or will not end the show without actually mentioning Julian Alfred at least once before the show is done.
Well, you know I had to, eh? You know I definitely had to.
Of course, congratulations to her, of course, for doing up, of course, St. Lucia, one of the greatest thing in the world, of course, by putting them in the history book of the Olympics. Indeed.
And it was not once but twice, gold in the 100, silver in the 200. And
you know exactly
she was
you know exactly what would be crazy.
And she was not too far off from having the triple, because she was the under 60-meter champion, breaking the 7-second marker, becoming the first NACC person to break the 7-second mark, every woman's, right, when she had 100. So if she had gotten the 200 in gold, she would have had the triple in terms of events.
And then, for the next 20 years, you will be celebrating non-stop. I guarantee. And she's in her young 20s. So, in her early 20s. So she still has a bit more left in her time.
She's 23. She has at least the 2 Olympics under her belt still.
Possibly 3.
Yeah, possibly 3. She has Los Angeles and Australia, and to replicate stuff.
That is if Australia decides.
Well, we'll see about that one. We'll see if Australia decides, we are going to, because again, the Commonwealth, they had to pass it on. They couldn't take it on, and we're still now looking for somebody to host the venue, right?
Based on what we spoke, I think we mentioned this, I think it was last week, that Australia is the host for the 2030 Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not sure exactly how that will go as it regards to the governing body. So I don't know, because I think next year they're supposed to be doing the championships, and then 2030 they will be the host of the Olympics. And
the Commonwealth is supposed to be 2026. The Commonwealth is 2026.
And of course,
but you will need somebody to be officially given it so that they can prepare for 2026. So,
it's 2024. So,
and so far nobody has raised their hands. And if nobody is raising their hands now, you now have to ask yourself, when will somebody raise their hands? Because if it was an exciting, I guess we'll get into that part later on. But if it was an exciting thing to host, when somebody pull out, everybody should be raising their hands. I want to host.
Exactly.
But you don't see that.
Exactly. Put the organizers and the various heads of departments under pressure. Oh no, we will let this one. Or oh no, we will let this one. You know what I mean? But no one is pushing to say, well, I'm gonna do this. Nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody really cares. And that's why.
So it's a case where if it's not given to someone, then who cares?
And that is why the Olympics, when they had the bid between the Paris bid, when they realized there was not too many people vying for that, they gave Paris this year's Olympics, and the runner-up, which was Los Angeles, they gave it for 2020. Because they didn't want it to happen. But you know what? Jamana. they don't want to be looking for some people to raise their hands. So you know what? Give the second place the next Olympics. So 2024 is France, 2028 is Los Angeles, and 2032 we'll give it to Australia. Okay, all right.
Something like that. But yeah, no, you see what I mean? Like, a lot more persons or a lot more countries put their hands up to host the Olympics, but nobody really wants to host the Commonwealth Games. Why? We all know exactly.
Nobody wants to host the Commonwealth Games or the Olympics because they are both expensive.
True. But a lot more countries put their hands up in terms of the Olympics. Why? Because that's the move that. Well, I wouldn't. Of course,
I will say this: if you have a look at the last 20 years, the amount of people vying to host Olympics have gone down, and that's why I tell you, in this last one, we gave the second runner-up 2028, which is Los Angeles. And before we get there, there is something for us as Caribbean countries to be excited for. It happened in the last Commonwealth game, where cricket made it to the Commonwealth as a sport. And in Los Angeles, in 2028, we will be having cricket making its return. I didn't say debut, I said return to the Olympics as an Olympic sport.
Well. I mean, if football is a part of the Olympics, why can't cricket?
Exactly. And now that we have 2020, so there is no excuse. There is no excuse. So, yeah, for our Caribbean people, we have something to look forward to next year. I do not know whether we will. The only thing is this: I do not know whether it's going to be played as a West Indies or as individual countries. I have no idea how that's going to work out, but I guess we will see as we get closer. But that's why I do not have
Well, when that time comes,
we shall see how the composition of the team, because when I look at the Commonwealth, when I look at it, Barbados, I think played in that match. It was Barbados who played.
Okay.
Yeah, but we can always get there to it as to what's going to be the qualifying, how nations are going to be qualified to play the Olympics for cricket, and whether it's just the 2020 or they will fully have a 1D component to it. I don't know how they're going to do it, but we shall see.
And when that time comes, we will see in 2028.
Well, I guess we will know before 2028 because they will be preparing themselves. And again, guys, for those who haven't made the connection that cricket is going back to the United States in 2028 because actually the World Cup, the 2020 World Cup, was hosted by the Caribbean / the US. Just saying.
With 3 major stadiums in the US.
And this time we are going to Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is not, it's more to the west of the United States. That's where California and so on and so forth is. But anyway, we shall get there. We shall get there. So the sport is growing and the sport is booming.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
So, some 8 minutes to go. What say you?
I think we can round off. I think the next time we will do next Saturday. We will touch on the various sports that are remaining. Have a overview of the Olympics, the good, the bad, the ugly. How you rate France's third time hosting the Olympics because they have hosted twice before in terms of the summer. They have hosted pre-summer Olympics, they have hosted pre-winter Olympics, and it's supposed to host another winter Olympics, I think, in 2030. So that'll be the fourth winter. But yes, France have been hosting Olympics on a very, I will not say regular, but they have hosted many times to count.
I just think France is the most hosting nation as it regards to the Olympics. It doesn't really matter which one it is. Once it's the Olympics, and all Olympics spell the very same way, I just think France is leading in that department.
I think we are actually, yeah.
So,
I think we are.
With that
alright
said,
then, so we shall get Subat and a few other things in our next Saturday.
So, with that said, listeners, I will say to you that it has been a pleasure working with y'all, and of course, you know, at the end of the day, they say all good things all good things must come to an end, eh? So until next you hear Jazzy's voice, he says goodbye. And next, when you hear my voice, of course, it will be tomorrow evening for the oldies but goodies party from 6 to 9 p.m. JA, 7 to 10 Eastern Standard, and 1 to 4 a.m. South Africa. Well, goodbye for now.